Let's do it for Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle, the Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side, man open, touchdown! He's got a man, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown again! Touchdown! David, tell me what you want to say. Tagovailoa trying to pick up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown! Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one on this Tuesday night. Hope all y'all are having a good start to your week. We got a good one for you tonight. We're going to go over actually a jam-packed article from Barry Jackson full of a lot of nuggets, including an update on veteran offensive linemen potentially, as well as he even discusses Dalvin Cook. On top of that, I will talk about the newest tight end that the Miami Dolphins have added to their fray. And then a big one too. We got over 8 minutes, about 8 minutes of all 22 of Cam Smith. We're going to be doing an in-depth prospect profile like I do every year for the guys we draft. So we're going to do that. Man, we got a bunch to go over tonight on the show. Hope all of y'all, already over 100 of you in the chat, please do me the favor, smash the like button. Another cool thing too is, we're going to go over, I didn't have a chance because we had a guest yesterday, but I wanted to go over Peter King's Football Morning in America because, Dolphin fans are calling the media out, and hey, kudos to Peter King because he actually answered a mailbag question with someone calling him out. And then some interesting tidbits on the draft and other targets who, if they weren't drafted, we would have been eyeing at potentially at 51. So a lot to go over tonight. Shout out to everyone who's already showing up in the chat. Blake, Gerald, George, KY23, Chris, Michael Simmons, Pro Special, Duke, Brian Gonzalez, Knight, Darth Logan, MG Taxman, George Rabber, Marino's Goat, Scotty Joe, Richard Blackstone, Robert Carrillo, Kevin Williams, Andrew Harris, Robert Thomason, Larry, 1017 Man, Chris Gifford, David Deuce, Jason, how you going? How you doing, bro? Bruce Payne, Paulie King, Cool Iguana, Angel. How is everyone doing tonight on this fine evening? What's up, Tyler? No Name Fins. Yeah, so hey, listen, even though we're kind of in a lull period, May's usually a lull period, the news don't stop, man. The news don't stop. Onder, Mario, how you guys doing? So we got a lot to talk about tonight. What do I think about the Dolphins going over Matt Araiza? Because I guess someone's asked me in the chat what I think about Matt Araiza. Everyone knows I was a huge fan of the punk god coming out of college, and then all that stuff happened about him. Now, obviously, more information has come to light, and now they're saying he wasn't even present when all that stuff happened to her or whatever. So I don't know, man. Listen, this is an interesting thing because to me, there's got to be some. Listen, if he's totally exonerated, there's got to be some kind of punishment, leveled towards false accusations here. And the reason why I say that is because, listen, you can sue a person to oblivion. You can win a whole bunch of money. You can do all that. Are you ever really going to be cleared? Is your name? There's always going to be those people out there that are always still going to doubt you and that are always still going to slander your name or meme about you, all that kind of jazz. Damage is done. You know what I mean? And, man, listen, if it all turns out to be true and he wasn't present when all that went down, this kid deserves to live his life. Now, at the same time, what's not adding up to me, though, is he did admit to having intercourse with her. And I know there's some discussion about she lied about her age to him or something like that. Either way, the guy also admittedly slept with an underage girl. So, I don't know about that one. So now, it could have been under the pretense that she lied 110%, but it's such a murky and cloudy situation. We brought on Michael Turk and stuff like that. Listen, we need some more clarity for that situation, right? Basically it's that Chappelle thing, right? When Chappelle and R. Kelly about talking about I need R. Kelly stand there with his ID. The girl standing there because that's the thing. Like, okay, you exonerate him. Listen, you exonerate him from being involved in what went down against her. Cool. But now you got to exonerate the whole underage thing. You need to prove she lied about her age. If she admits she lied about her age to him, okay, let's play ball. But even though he's getting exonerated on all this rape stuff, the fact of the matter is he did admit to sleeping with her consensually. We need to figure out if she lied about her age. Because if she didn't, then we got an issue. There's layers to this one, all right? It's not just as simple as, he wasn't there. Now you got to deal with the whole, he admittedly slept with her and the underage aspect of it. So, because I'm going to tell you this right now. As a father of two girls, if, I don't even know if that man would be alive right now to tell his story, okay? So, we'll see how it plays out, though. We'll see how it plays out because, listen, if you're going to sue her to oblivion, you got to, at the same time, you got to get proof that she lied about her age. That's the way you can fully clear your name. If you can prove she lied about her age when you had your consensual, little escapade, all right? When you had a little consensual escapade, if you can prove she lied about her age, and then on top of, you weren't there for when your teammates did whatever they did to her, then, that's a pretty clean slate. So, but man, that's a complicated situation, dude. Like how many teams even want to touch that right now? Think about that one. That just seems like an ugly situation that I don't know if I would even go near. And, let's see what we got in Turk. Turk should have been drafted. Personally, that's what I think. We'll see what happens. But, Knight, how many of the O-linemen who are available are able to and have experience in a wide zone offense? I know Fleming with Denver, I believe. Well, obviously Brandon Shell too. I don't have the list in front of me of all the tackles that are available right now. I'd have to sit there and actually go through all the tackles. I literally don't even have a list in front of me. I don't think I do. Hold on, let me look. You got to remember too, right? Every team just doesn't run like if you're a gap team, you don't run strictly gap stuff. You're gonna run zone stuff blended in too. So everyone's gonna have experience. Do I have? I don't think I. Let me see if I have. I don't even think I have a list in front of me. Like Isaiah Wynn's out there right now, and that's more of a gap guy, right? Who else is out there right now? Really, other than listen, Cam Fleming and Brandon Shell are all I want. If it ain't them, I mean, Jesus, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Is my phone gonna ring? If it ain't them, holy crap! And we're not trading. We're clearly not gonna trade one of those second round picks, for a Terrence Steele or something like that. So, what tackles actually fit Miami's offense? Well, Brandon Shell fits. Right? Obviously. Cam Fleming fits, obviously. I don't have a full list. I only have a short list of guys out here. And this is from like March. So my list is like 2 months old. So I don't even have it I really don't even have it updated out here. So I'd have to sit there and go over but Cam Fleming's a fit. Brandon Shell's a fit. Isaiah Wynn's kind of a stretch. I don't even know. Let me look this up. Because I think he would be able to fit into it. But let me find out if he's even a free agent or whatever. Okay, so yeah. So I'm not even going to mention him because he went back to his team. Really, Brandon Shell and Cam Fleming, even from my list in March, everyone in front of them's gone, right? Like, Jermaine Illuminor went back to Vegas. Isaiah Wynn, Josh Neiman, I think he got re-signed. Terrence Steele, I don't think they're going to trade a second-round pick, right? And then after that, again, is he gone? I got to look. I mean, other than that, now you're starting to get into like the George Fant and such. And I'm good on a George Fant. Thank you very much. It's if you're not bringing back Brandon Shell or you're not signing Cam Fleming, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. You better have a trade worked up. Who's the guard tackle you don't want? I don't know what you're talking about. I know a guard that would make sense, and I don't know if he would come here, but go get Cam Fleming and Dalton Reisner. I don't want DJ Fluker, bro. Come on, man. The guy's been out of football for over 2 years, and even when he was in football, he wasn't that good. Like, people forget Fluker was here, and he wasn't even that good, man. Right? Just because he looks like a workout warrior and slimmed down, the guy also hasn't been playing for 2 years. And you also remember, another thing too, guys, linemen are going to get cut throughout training camp. Right? I believe, if memory serves me correctly, but I don't know if I don't think we'll bring him in. I think the rumor is that Chase Roulier is going to be cut. Or did he get cut already? I think he might have got cut. Yeah, he got cut. They've already cut him. They cut him yesterday, I think. There was rumors he was going to get cut. Now Chase Roulier is cut, but we're not going to bring in. They're going to stick with what's his face at center, Connor Williams. They're riding that out, man. They are riding that out, right? So, listen, your best hope right now is Cam Fleming or Brandon Shell. That's your best hope right now at tackle. And those are guys where they're stopgaps. Okay? So 250 of you in the room, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it though. And let's start off with the signing today as they round out the tight end room a little bit. The Miami Dolphins have signed Tyler Kroft to a 1-year deal per his agent. If you shout out to Knight, he says, ask because of the rants about us not signing a free agent. Yeah, really, Brandon Shell and Fleming are the best available right now. There's not much out there. Well, then you're starting getting into like the George Fant and stuff where you don't want to go that path. And you can see why they're giving Austin Jackson and stuff. But anyways, Tyler Kroft here. Now, obviously, played with San Fran last year, played with the Jets the year before, played with Buffalo for 2 years, and then where he made his bank was really in that 2017 season when he was with the Bengals when he had 404 yards, but he also had 7 touchdowns. Now, listen, I want to be very, very clear here. I don't expect very much from this at all. I don't expect 400 yards. I think you're lucky to get 150 this year from him. I think Saubert and Smythe are going to offer you more. Now, when you talk about, he's a decent pass blocker. Okay, he's an okay pass blocker. Personally, though, this move to me is just rounding out, because when you look at Higgins and Connor, who knows, they might not even, depending on how they go, right? Like you got a decent pass blocker in Kroft and decent pass blocker, and he's okay, like he's an okay pass blocker and an okay run blocker, and he doesn't really offer you anything after the catch. I mean, this is just a whatever move for me. This is nothing worth writing home about and doing some handstands over. I think Saubert will be more productive, and we already know, I think Saubert's ceiling might be 300 yards. So that tells you where Kroft might be. Hey, you don't know what you got behind Saubert and Smythe. You don't know what Higgins is going to be in the transition in year 1. You don't know what Tanner Connor's going to be in transition year 2. Get a guy who knows the position, who's at least okay blocking. You know what I mean? Shout out to 1017, man, as he's out here and he gifted Kevin Williams a membership. Appreciate that, homie. Night out here donating. Appreciate you, sir. So, listen, it is what it is. All right? Tyler Kroft is what it is. Shout out to 1017, man. So, listen, I'm not whatever. That's literally what that is to me. That's literally what that is to me. I'm not going to sit up here and sell you false hope on a guy who's a depth piece at best. All right? I'm just not going to do that. So, but hey, now there's nothing left to do but the offensive line. Jesus. And I'm telling you, they're just going to wait. All that money's going to free up. So June 1st is going to be interesting. Hey, we're not far away. We are not far away. We are a little over 3 weeks away from finally, starting to get some answers here. Now, I don't expect it as soon as, the clock strikes June 1st, all these moves happen. But I don't think we're going to be stagnant for very long. All right, continuing on here. The curious punter battle and updates on offensive line and running back. Here is a 6-pack of Miami Dolphin notes from Barry Jackson yesterday. The Dolphins have opted against bringing in competition for the kicker, who has been here 5 years and struggled mightily at times. But they're eager to bring in competition for the punter, who has been in their building for just 5 weeks. After signing former Patriots punter Jake Bailey in free agency, the Dolphins added undrafted Oklahoma punter Michael Turk immediately after the draft. This should be an entertaining battle if punter competitions are capable of being entertaining. Turk, the nephew of former NFL punter Matt Turk, was a first-team All-Big 12 selection in 2022 and was third in the FBS in gross punt average, 46.8 on 63 punts, with 24 fair catches, 22 inside the 20, and 10 touchbacks. Turk averaged 47.4 yards on 243 career punts, which is just 0.4 yards shy of the SBS record set by Ryan Stonehouse, who's lighting it up since he got drafted. Turk began his collegiate career at FCS Lafayette College in 2017, then spent 3 seasons at Arizona State, and then spent the past 2 seasons at Oklahoma. Lance Zierlein says he's like a home run hitter in baseball. Tremendous power, but is lacking ball control to plant opposing teams against our end zone, kicking instead of kicking for touchbacks. He has improved his hang time and outkicked his coverage a little less frequently, which will matter for NFL evaluators. The pure power and talent could get him a day 3 look. We hear that Turk had 7 NFL offers after the draft, and he chose us. So we must have really gassed him up. If he had 7 offers and we had brought in Jake Bailey with $940,000 of Jake Bailey's 1.1 guaranteed, I mean, we must have gassed him up. So Turk would likely need to clearly outperform Bailey to win the job. The background on Bailey, who was a Pro Bowl punter for the Patriots in 2020 and averaged 45.9 yards on 58 career punts over 4 years for New England. Meanwhile, the Dolphins conveyed to some free agents that they were considering bringing in competition for Jason Sanders. But to this point, they've decided against that. Sanders has a strong supporter in special teams coach Danny Crossman, among many others in the building. The Dolphins have been poking around in the veteran tackle market, and it's expected they will add one in the weeks ahead. Besides housing veteran Cam Fleming on a visit earlier last month, we hear they also discreetly brought in a couple of other veterans whose identities have not been revealed. Only players who were scheduled to become free agents this past March, such as Fleming, are required to be identified on the league wire. The Dolphins also continue to canvass the landscape at tight end, and obviously this was yesterday, now they've brought in Kroft. And while veterans likely will be added on both offensive line and tight end, we're told the Dolphins aren't waiting for a specific player to be released June 1st. So look at this. Are they bringing in guys who have been, did they bring back Eric Fisher? Did they contact Mitchell Schwartz? This tells you they've brought in guys who, they could have tried to bring in guys who might be retired. Like, geez, they're bringing people in discreetly. They're keeping it low key. Very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting right there. It's coming. They're going to add someone. It's coming. They're going to add someone. Right? We keep getting these updates about all this research they're doing on the tackle market. They're gonna bring in someone. It's just, I think we're gonna have to wait till June 1st. New Dolphins quarterback Cam Smith's 10 penalties last season were a point of criticism when the network draft analysts offered instant reaction to Miami selecting his 51st overall in the draft. But his other metrics were very, very good. Per PFF, he allowed a excellent 71.3 pass rating in his coverage area, just 18 completions and 38 targets for 211 yards, 11.7 per catch, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He played 356 snaps on the boundary and 196 in the slot. General manager Chris Greer said the team will train him on the boundary initially, and then he might get use in the slot. So some updates on Cam Smith, but I'm going to give you all you need to know in a couple minutes here anyways. Stephen Ross attended Michigan and has made large donations to the school, but the team owner has never pressured Dolphin management to draft Wolverines players. Ryan Hayes, who's the 7th-round offensive lineman, is Miami's first pick from Michigan since they selected both Jake Long and Chad Henne in 2008. The Dolphins have selected only 9 Michigan players in the draft, beginning with Jim Manick in 1970. And Ross told Hayes, I've been waiting a long time to get a Michigan guy on this team. Hopefully he was better than the last guy we drafted for someone's alma mater, Hunter Long, Brian Flores, Boston College. Jesus. The Minnesota Vikings haven't given running back Dalvin Cook clarity on whether they will keep him this season with his current $10.4 million salary and $14 million cap hit. But the Vikings haven't given him permission to negotiate with other teams and seek a trade partner. The Dolphins, who have spoken to the Vikings about Cook, will remain a possibility for him until his status is clarified. But a team trading for him likely would want to renegotiate his salary. ESPN's Adam Schefter said recently that Cook's status remains very much up in the air. So there you go. The Dolphins, who have spoken to the Vikings about Cook, will remain a possibility for him until his status is clarified. So, I mean, in one article, Barry's telling us they're going to add an offensive lineman to the point where they're bringing these guys in like they're sneaking them into the back cave. And he's telling us, too, they're still in on Dalvin Cook. Nothing has changed. So all the people who are just so adamantly against it, I keep telling all y'all, listen, put Devin Achane aside, who we just drafted. Add up Wilson, Mostert, Gaskin, and Ahmed. That ain't one Dalvin Cook, okay? If you can roll this year with Dalvin Cook, Mostert, and Devin Achane in your backfield, because Mostert's willing to come here on a cheap deal, $4, $5, $6, $7 million a year, you do that. Devin Achane isn't ready to be workhorse year one. You want to ease him into that role, right? That's why I've said you sign this guy to a 2-year deal, $7 million per year, get the guaranteed money, because that's what he wants. He wants guaranteed money. We're going to have all this cap space, get that money out of the way in year one. Even if you extend Wilkins, that's going to mean we're going to have even more money to play with. So get that money out. 2-year deal for Dalvin, because year 3, it's Achane's backfield. Year 1, it's a mixture of Mostert, Achane, and Dalvin. Year 2, it's Dalvin and Achane. Year 3, it's Achane, and you draft his complimentary guy, or you get his complimentary guy in free agency. That's the path I would go with this. If Dalvin's willing to play ball financially, like I've heard privately he is. If he really wants to come here and play ball financially, it should happen. So we'll see. We will see. But very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff from him there in terms of Barry Jackson. Love it. Love it. So Peter King, he got straight up called out in his mailbag. So let's go over this, because I got to give him props, and that's why I'm reading it here, for actually addressing it. All right? So Eric thinks I dissed Tua from Eric Sloss. Truly amazing how Tua is never mentioned among the standout AFC QBs. The dude had the highest passer rating in the NFL and still gets snubbed. Baffling to me. And this is what he said in response. He said, I take it you're referring to me including Tua in a group of players behind the 8 big stars in the 2020 first round. Tagovailoa has a chance to be in that group for sure, but he's not there now. He's a guy who started 34 games and missed 16 starts, which is incorrect, and never led his team to the playoffs in 3 years. Peter, if he didn't play this year, we don't go to the playoffs with Skylar Thompson. I hate to be the one to tell you. He was very good when he played last year, and I hope he's healthy for a full season this year so we can take the restrictor plates off of our judgments for him. So, you got guys that are letting their injuries skew their ability evaluation, right? Listen, I get the whole availability is the best ability. I get that. But when you're talking about quarterbacking abilities right now, Tua Tagovailoa is top 8 in the NFL right now. We're not talking about, because you're projecting. All you're doing is projecting that he's going to get hurt this year or whatever. It's not a fact. Hasn't happened. And if you're strictly talking off play, snubbing him out of the top 8 is ridiculous. See, people want to always try to find these asterisks. Well, why are you all over here, fawning over a guy like Kenny Pickett who got concussed 2 years, twice last year? Everyone knows I think Joe Burrow's the best in that class, but do people forget that Joe Burrow tore his ACL in year 1 and had identical numbers to Tua Tagovailoa? Do people forget this? So, listen. Peter King needs to relax over here. I get, but we're talking about talent. We're not talking about availability here. That's what that guy was asking about. Why isn't he put in? He's talking about passer rating. He's talking about a statistic, and he's bringing up a projection. Don't worry, though. When Tua stays healthy this year, they'll have no choice but to give him the flowers. 325 of you in the room. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. All right, very interesting thing I found here on ESPN. I think it's behind a paywall for you guys, but this stuff doesn't go behind a paywall for us in Canada. So, hey, here we go. Let's all benefit. All right, key intel on all 32 teams after the 2023 NFL. And I'm going to just get ready because I'm dropping a bomb right now, okay? Smash that like button if you want reason to drop a bomb, because I'm dropping a bomb right now. The well-worn lines surface every April. What an unpredictable draft. There's no consensus. Good luck with those mocks set in sand. But really, the 2023 NFL draft seemed impossible to predict. Just hours before the draft, Bryce Young at number 1 overall to Carolina felt like the only certainty. General managers were calling to move up or mostly down, with little hint as to why. Many teams had 14 or 15 players graded as first rounders. What did I tell you? What did I tell you guys? That I didn't even have 20 players graded. We had like 20 guys graded as first rounders, something like that. This year, it was brutal. Leaving a wide variance as to how each stacked the ladder of the first round. Subterfuge is part of the drafting game as much as selectings and hugs from the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. But this year seemed to elevate the shock value. For example, several league execs were predicting Houston would take a defensive player number 2 overall. Instead, Nick Cassier called an end around, selecting C.J. Stroud with the second pick, only to move up 9 spots to get pass rusher Will Anderson, the player many thought was atop his board at number 3. The draft featured 3 on-the-clock trades in the top 10 and 3 more later in round 1. The only thing missing on day 1 was a blockbuster deal involving a veteran player, though the Eagles tried to satisfy that need 2 days later by getting running back DeAndre Swift from the Lions. What was predictable? Nothing reveals the team's big-picture plans quite like the draft, and this year was no different. Instead of reacting to the week's results on short notice, we let the draft breathe. Then we made calls to bring you post-draft nuggets on all 32 teams, including intel from on-the-clock decisions, background on key picks, day 1 strategy, etc., etc. So this is Miami's. All right? The Dolphins scanned the tight end position early in the draft. My sense is if Luke Musgrave or Sam LaPorta were available at 51, the Dolphins, who lost Mike Gesicki this offseason and could use a do-it-all player in Coach Mike McDaniel's offense, would have had something to seriously consider. They were intrigued by both players. The Dolphins believe South Carolina quarterback Cam Smith has potential to be elite, so perhaps they would have made that pick anyway. But Miami's low draft capital, 4 picks after a tampering charge in various trades, prevented it from getting a true difference maker at tight end on day 2. Let me tell you this. You ready for the bomb? I'll give you the bomb right now. Thank God they didn't pick a guy like Luke Musgrave, okay? Because you know why? I wouldn't have taken, I've been telling y'all, he loves the party scene. He loves the party scene. Okay, I'll give you an even deeper hint, all right? All right? And I don't want that nose candy fiend coming down. You're already a nose candy fiend in Oregon State. What would you be in Miami? No thank you. Goodbye. Want nothing to do with that. I will pass on Luke Musgrave. Good luck on that situation. All right, that guy, man, bruh, there ain't nothing to do in Green Bay when it gets real cold down there, and he gonna have a real paycheck coming through. My God, I can only imagine what that guy's gonna be. No, thank you. I'm good. All right, I am good on Luke Musgrave. That's why I didn't have him on my day 2 list. I did not have him on my day 2 targets list at all. People followed me on Twitter and I put that list out. He was not on my list. There is a reason why I omitted Luke Musgrave, okay? Because this guy's a party animal, bro. Not having that. Especially down in Miami. Are you crazy? Now, Sam LaPorta. Let's talk about this for a sec. That's the pick. Sam LaPorta would have been beautiful. I think, really, it would have been LaPorta or Bergeron would have given them legit pause on Cam Smith. I do believe that. I think those are the only players that went in and around day 2 that would have probably given them serious pause right before. Because I know they loved Bergeron, and I know they really, after the process, I found out they really liked LaPorta. So, I think LaPorta or Bergeron would have been the other options there. Luke Musgrave's a pussy, too, on top. Look at, the guy loves the nose candy, and on top of that, he doesn't like the physical aspect of football. They would have passed on Musgrave. I think they would have taken Cam Smith over Luke Musgrave 110%. Where does Eazy-E is going to have a good season. Eazy-E is going to come into play this year. Don't worry. Don't worry about Eazy-E. He's going to play this year. Look at the chemistry he's building with the boys in Tua right now. At Perform, working out with them. He's going to be just fine. He is going to be just fine. Yeah, I know. Hey, we all like John Michael Schmitz, but listen, even as much as I kept gassing John Michael Schmitz up, I kept telling all y'all they're not taking a center over Connor and kicking back to guard. So, that's just not happening. Tony, I don't know. Listen, that whole the whole tampering thing where that team, they were able to make a trade because they got caught tampering was such bull crap. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Listen, I said it before, I'll say it again. When I started doing this, I used to hear in the chat, the comments, the league has it out for us. They hate Miami. And I used to, I don't know about that. I 110% agree with you guys. 110%. 110%. So, Channing Tindall, I think Channing Tindall's got the traits where a guy like Fangio will like him. My issue with Tindall is going to be this. With Tindall, you had issues grasping the playbook last year. Now we're asking you to grasp a whole new playbook. The terminology has changed and everything. You can't be slow in year 2. What, are we supposed to wait till year 3 till we can see you on the field? Because you can't. If that's the situation, there's going to be issues. I'm going to tell you that right now. Internally, there will be issues. Eazy-E, I'm not worried about. Eazy-E, Wes Welker. You got to look at Wes Welker as like Dr. Frankenstein with his monster in the lab. I keep telling people, don't worry about Eazy-E, and I'll tell you why. Eazy-E has the traits at that position, Deebo Samuel traits. Okay, literally Deebo Samuel traits. But on top of that, he comes from Texas Tech. Where did Wes Welker go to school? Texas Tech. Why do I mention that? Because of this. Texas Tech receivers do not have expansive route trees. Okay? They just don't. Right? Air raid offenses go run, get the ball. What they're doing, you could tell, was developing his route tree, making him a better route runner. And then they're going to unleash him. So I'm not worried about that. Listen, you saw the plays he was making as an unrefined route runner in preseason. He's the reason why all these people were all goo-goo gaga over Skylar Thompson and sipping the QB1 Kool-Aid, which, my God, bunch of cult followers. If you were sipping the Kool-Aid of a cult, we wouldn't even be talking about y'all. Y'all would be, up in heaven right now doing your little whatever. Eazy-E's the reason why all these people were sipping that Kool-Aid. Now imagine when he's going to be a refined route runner. I think they're refining him as a route runner because he is going to be instrumental. We don't have a 50-50 high point guy, especially in the red zone, and that's what he's going to be. I am looking for big things from Eazy-E in year 2. I expect more from Eazy-E in year 2 than I do from Channing Tindall. I hope Tindall pleasantly surprises me. But when I heard about how hard he's grasping the playbook and now switching over to new defense, new terminology, I worry again. So, but Eazy-E, I think we're gonna see something from him this year, man. I really do. I believe that. All right. So, and I mean, hey, did y'all not see the boys putting in the work? Did y'all not see? Oh, to the waddle. To the waddle. It's coming, baby. It's coming, baby. It's coming. Don't you worry. I got my white Waddle jersey coming too, right on top of that. All right. Something I did want to talk about here before we get into the Cam Smith prospect profile. Interesting little how people rank our defense. And I want to, this is for you guys in the comments right now. I'm going to read this piece of this article, and I'm going to play a little portion from Chuck Pagano talking about our defense. Where would you rank our defense in the comments, in the chat? Let me know below. Even after you watch, put it in the comments after the fact. Where would you rank our defense? Because we already know we got a top 10 offense when Tua is at the helm. Do we have a top 5 defense? Do we have a top 15 defense? I want to go over this stuff with you guys. So Bleacher Report, they came out with an article, and they were ranking every defense after the 2023 draft. So Arizona 32, et cetera, et cetera. Where did they have Miami? Well, they had us a middle-of-the-pack defense, which I felt was very disingenuous to our defense. They had us 14th. Okay. Key additions, Jalen Ramsey, David Long, Cam Smith. The key losses, Landon Roberts. Come on. And what they say here, the whole was not the sum of its parts for the Miami defense in 2022. Despite ranking 6th in yards per carry allowed, 4.1, and 13th in yards per pass attempt, 6. Miami ranked in the bottom half of both yards and points allowed. A big part of the problem was the inability to generate turnovers, 14 in the regular season, and defend the red zone. Opponents scored touchdowns on 59.3% of the red zone trips last season, 10th highest rate in the NFL. There are reasons to believe the Miami Dolphins can be more efficient this season, one of them being the addition of Jalen Ramsey. While the 28, what's with this decline talk? Might be on the decline. He was still quite good last season, logging 4 interceptions, allowing a opposing passer rating 84.5 in coverage. He did surrender 659 yards and 5 touchdowns, his highest total since joining the Rams in 2019. Ramsey and Xavier Howard should be one of the league's better cornerback duos, and Cam Smith is a nice rookie addition. See, here's my issue. I'm not even going to finish reading this. You didn't even mention Vic Fangio, right? So that's my issue. So they got the Browns rated ahead of us? Please. The Bengals, and they've lost Jesse Bates and Von Bell. Key losses. All right. Denver Broncos. I don't know. Pittsburgh, I mean, they've added. Look at who they've added. Oh, my God. But, I thought we were very, very, very low ranked. I think at minimum we have a top 10 defense in Miami. And this is what Chuck Pagano said of our defense. He actually has us as top 5 in the NFL. This is what he had to say.
Top defenses around the league. Start us off with a team that made a big move in terms of their defensive coordinator, and you think that's going to help them move up in terms of their defensive efficiencies.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, a lot of buzz down there. They won the Vic Fangio sweepstakes, if you will. I know Jade and everybody else, how coveted, Vic was. Every head coach, I'm sure, had Vic Fangio, whether he talked to him or not. They said, okay, Vic Fangio is going to be our defensive coordinator. That's huge, for the Dolphins. There's nothing that Vic hasn't seen or done. He's had amazing. I had to follow Vic in Chicago, when he got the Denver job. That was not fun. They were number one in damn near every defensive statistical category. Only as Vic, because he's had really good players, and he's a great teacher and develops players. But then they go out and acquire Jalen Ramsey, to play opposite of Xavier Howard. So you get arguably one of the best, if not, best cover corners right now in the National Football League. And I know there's some young guys coming up, but because this defense, let's be honest, they've got talent, at all three levels. Christian Wilkins, interior defensive lineman is a game wrecker. You got Chubb, Bradley, who was at, Denver with Vic, so he's got familiarity with him. Jalen Phillips on the other side. They pick up David Long Jr. as an inside linebacker. And then, finally, another key acquisition for them, he goes out and gets Ronaldo Hill, who was the defensive coordinator, for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I coached Ronaldo in Oakland back in the day, 05, 06. And this is a rising star. It won't be long before, Ronaldo has a chance to be head coach in the National Football League.
So, look at the praise, the difference between a Bleacher Report article and a former coach in the NFL, and he believes we're going to be top 5. And Vic Fangio is one of the main talking points. Bleacher Report didn't even mention that. Again, I'm going to tell you this right now. The NFL is not ready for the Dolphins to have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, because guess what? That's a Super Bowl recipe, baby. They are not ready for this. Let's go. If you ain't hyped, I don't know what to tell you right now. And I agree with him about the Ronaldo Hill pickup. That is a underrated addition to our staff, right? Sean Desai got a promotion, et cetera, et cetera. So, man, what an exciting time to be Dolphin fans. Vic Fangio is our defensive coordinator, and Jalen Ramsey's a Dolphin, baby. But let's get in to one of the newest Dolphins. Let's get into my prospect profile of Cam Smith. Y'all ready for it? Let's get into it. All right, guys? So, with Cam Smith, the Gamecock ball hawk in Miami secondary. Shout out to Visual J for the jersey swap. On the second night of the 2023 NFL Draft, and with a pick many experts and fans thought would be used on a tight end or offensive lineman, the Miami Dolphins flipped all of that on its head by selecting Cam Smith, cornerback, South Carolina. There's been a lot of backpedaling to initial overreactions from people who never watched him but called it a bad pick, and rightfully so they're backpedaling, because like I said after the pick happened, Cam Smith is a really good football player, and you can't drag the Dolphins for this pick. Why? Well, Nick Needham and Trill Williams are coming off of injuries. No one knows what the future holds for Xavier Howard in Miami after this year. Noah Benogany is pretty much a bust who might not even make the roster. And beyond that, the Dolphins have special teamers like Keon Crossan and depth guys like Justin Bethel at best. So, yes, this room may be deep now, but that whole landscape could change in 2024. It's also obvious that Cam Smith was the best player available on Miami's board when pick number 51 came around, and when you put on the all 22 of them, it's clear to see why many had him as a top 30 to 40 player in the 2023 NFL Draft. Cam Smith joined the Gamecocks out of South Carolina as a 4-star recruit from Westwood High, where not only was he an All-American cornerback, but also a track star too. He ran an 11.6800 meter and also competed in long jump and triple jump. After being redshirted as a freshman, he proceeded to lead the Gamecocks in interceptions the next year, tied with J.C. Horn and Israel Mukamu at 2 apiece. I mentioned all that because two of the first things that jump out at you when you watch Smith's film is just how explosive of an athlete he is and his instincts as a ball hawk. He has the size, speed, fluid hips, and feet to mirror receivers and stay on top of routes, along with good route recognition too. It can't be understated how competitive he is as well. He doesn't like getting beat, which is why he only had 2 games in 2022 where he allowed more than 1 catch. What's impressive too is not only how smooth his back pedal is, but he doesn't lose a single step whether he turns to trail or open up towards the receiver. He's also as effective in man as he is in zone. He's got the physicality to press and the speed to match receivers in man coverage while possessing the high-level football IQ and spatial awareness to play his holes and track any receiver that comes through it in his zone. Again, his instincts to jump routes and play the ball show up in both man zone, as well as some players just have that knack for finding the ball, and Cam Smith is one of those players. What's underrated about Cam Smith's game is the physical aspect of it. People will point to how handsy he can be or the flags called on him, as he had 10 in 2022 alone with 3 games, Charlotte, Texas A&M, and Tennessee, where he had 2. Instead, I say look at how effective he is along the line of scrimmage, as he can both offer you something as a blitzer with his explosive first step off the line and short area quickness. He had 1 quarterback hit and 3 hurries in 2022. While against the run, he loves to fire downhill against a ball carrier. He had 4 run stops in 2022, and he had 13 run stops in 2021. He can play through traffic, get through blocks, and really lay the hammer as a hitter when he gets a chance to, though his aggressiveness can come with a miss here or there, but overall he's a good, consistent tackler. Also, as much as people will highlight his 6 interceptions over the course of his collegiate career, if he can't turn the ball over, he still has the ability to impact and disrupt the play, as he had 17 pass breakups over the last 3 years and 11 in 2021 alone, which led the team. Cam Smith can be depended on to lock down too, not just turn the ball over. In 2021, he had a 36.5 NFL passer rating allowed when targeted and a 71.3 in 2022, while only 46.9 of the balls thrown his ways were caught in 2021 and only 47.4% of the balls thrown his way in 2022 were caught. In only 9 of his 33 games, he allowed more than 1 reception, while over the course of 94 targets he faced in college, he allowed 48 receptions during his time at South Carolina, but also 23 of those 94 targets either resulted in an interception or a pass breakup. He had 6 interceptions and 17 pass breakups. Keep in mind, this was also in the SEC. Sure, it's not the NFL, but from a collegiate and talent standpoint, it's the cream of the crop. Right away, I believe Cam is going to walk onto this team and compete with Kader Kohou as the 3rd best cornerback on this team, but I think Cam's versatility is what may give him a higher ceiling in this defense. Smith can play the boundary a little bit better, offer you production in the slot, and I do think he has the traits that can allow you to play him in a high or a box role too. Not to mention, Smith does have more ideal length to his frame for someone you want on the boundary compared to Kohou, and he runs a 4.43 40 compared to Kohou's 4.46, but that's like splitting hairs. So they offer you similar high-end speed for the position. But the key that Cam Smith will unlock, at least in year 1, is Jalen Ramsey's usage in Vic Fangio's defense. Ramsey was able to play the star role in the Rams defense, which was initially installed by now Chargers coach Brandon Staley while he was the defensive coordinator there and continued on after he left. The star role is key in a nickel defense, and it allows Ramsey to play up at the line of scrimmage, help and run support where he excels, and be used like a chess piece against a pass under Fangio principles, allowing him to move before after the snap, react from depth, etc. People seem to be concerned about Cam Smith's snaps and where he'll get them from. Ramsey moving around, like I just explained aside, we all can't be suffering from short-term memory loss and forgetting how key cornerback depth would have been for this team last year on injuries alone. When you dive into the numbers, though, Kader Kohou accounted for 969 snaps behind Howard's leading 1,047 snaps. But Noah Benogany, Justin Bethel, Keon Crossan, and Nick Needham accounted for 1,092 snaps between them last year, with nothing guaranteed this year as far as a roster spot for Noah goes, while Crossan and Bethel are expected to be relegated to being mainly special teams contributors. Needham is the only one who may see a significant amount of playing time behind X, Ramsey, Kader, and Cam Smith if everyone stays healthy. This means there should be more than enough snaps to go around for Cam Smith in year 1. Not to mention his ability to play in the slot, the box, at the line of scrimmage, and on the boundary will be another factor in his favor, just seeing significant snaps as a rookie. After what the Dolphins dealt with last year, I, for one, appreciate the depth of the cornerback room. And remember, the last time Chris Grier drafted a cornerback in the second round, it didn't work out too bad, huh? I'm not saying to expect Xavier Howard out of the gate, who even himself took a few years to become. But what I am saying is that if they hit on another ball-hawking stud with a second-round pick in Cam Smith, I won't be surprised, because the traits, intangibles, and talent is all there when you watch him, while also taking into consideration his ceiling in this defense under the guidance of Vic Fangio. I've also heard the narrative that Chris Grier may have drafted him because he played with his son, which I think is misguided and misdirected. If anything, Chris Grier having a son at South Carolina is going to help him formulate a relationship and a level of trust with that coaching staff that not many other NFL GMs would have unless their own kids played there. This tells me the Dolphins probably did more homework and had more access to and more intel on Smith than most other, if not all, NFL teams. At the end of the day, Chris Grier drafting Cam Smith is for right now in the future, which good teams and GMs do. Just because it didn't align with what some fans wanted to see them draft doesn't make it the wrong choice. It was the right choice. And guess what, boys and girls? It was a smart choice at that. This kid's going to be a stud, baby. So, listen, you watch this kid, you throw on that film, and you see a difference maker. You see a guy who is going to be a factor in year one. Listen, kid's gonna snipe a couple picks in year one. All right? And you look at the instincts of this kid, right? You look at how he excels in the run game. You look at how physical he is. That handsy stuff, listen, also when you get to a certain level, you also got to remember, you can get coached up in certain ways, and when you get to a certain level in the NFL, you can get away with being a little handsy. It's all about disguising it, right? You can't be so blatant with it. And, I'm excited about this pick. I really am, especially with what we have coming up on the horizon. People got to start looking through the future here, too. And when you look at what was available at the board, this was a high value pick. And that's something you guys have heard me talk about all draft season. You know how much I value high value picks. And that's what this was. He shouldn't have been there at 51. Shouldn't have been. And we snatched him. And you look at this cornerback room, guys. This secondary is effing phenomenal. Effing phenomenal. And the guidance he's going to learn under Ramsey, Xavier Howard, Vic Fangio. Man, Cam Smith already had a high ceiling coming into this draft, but now he just walked into arguably the best environment for a cornerback right now. The only thing I think he needs to do is put on a little bit more weight. He cleans up the hand. If he learns how to clean up and control the handsiness, and he puts on a little bit of weight, my God, look out. My God, look out. Love the length to his frame. Love everything about this kid, man. I think this is another second-round stud we just got. And I got high expectations for this kid long term. Year one, I think he's going to surprise people. He's going to make a lot of people that were just flying off the railing. They're going to make them look like idiots. And Topher says in January, draft boards had him top 20. I'm telling you, man, we got a great player, especially when you consider the value. I can't wait to see him in aqua and orange, man. I can't. And I'm waiting for those Devin A-Chain jerseys to hit the shop. Listen, I don't get screen. I just got my white waddle, and it's on the way. I don't get screen press, but if that A-Chain jersey hits, I might have to get the screen pressed A-Chain jersey until, the vapors come out. I'm just saying. Because that's my boy, everyone knows that's my boy. All the congratulations and well wishes I got when we picked him. You think he's my kid. Shout out to Thundercleus for joining the Hall of Fame level. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, man. Listen, we got a lot still going on here, though, right? Tomorrow night, I'm going to be back with Richmond Webb, Mr. Ballgame, and it's going to be a good one. You ain't going to want to miss that, the finish line. Thursday night, live, while the schedule release is happening. Me and Neil live a NFL schedule release spectacular. All right, we will be live reacting to the NFL schedule as it comes out. So you're not going to want to miss that on Thursday. And then guess what's happening, all right? I haven't decided yet, either Saturday or Sunday, but it's coming this weekend. Devin A-Chain prospect profile. You know that's coming for all y'all too. I already started cooking that one up in the lab. And you know I'm excited for that. That might be a little bit, you might get more than 8 minutes of all 22. You might have to stop me from rambling about them. Huh? It's going to be, you know my boy. You know I'm just going to be gushing. You know, you're going to want to watch that one. Okay? That's going to be one you're going to want to watch. You want the most electrifying man in the SEC now in aqua and orange. You're going to want to watch that one. And we're going to be having film from 2021, 2022. We going years here. I might even throw a little 2020 in for all y'all. All right? It's all over, baby. So you ain't going to want to miss the Devin A-Chain prospect profile, especially if you like the Cam Smith one. Guys, there's over 410 of you in the room. Can you please do me the favor and smash the like button? Subscribe if you're new, especially on a video like this. You know, and I appreciate all the donations because all 22, it's hit or miss. It can get me demonetized. Most of the time it does. So I appreciate everyone donating, the memberships and everything like that. But please smash the like button and share it if you can, because I do want more Dolphin fans to learn about Cam Smith and see that film, because, you know, you're not going to find anyone else in this community that has the access to all 22 that I do, and that can chop up 8 minutes of all 22 for you there and put it together. You're not going to find that right now. So share it for the masses, man. I appreciate all of y'all for doing it. Listen, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to see all y'all tomorrow night. Again, me, Richmond, and ball game. Thursday night, me and Neil live. The schedule release starts at 8 p.m. and we'll be live just around that time, either before that or just at that time. So be out on the lookout for that on Thursday. And then Devin A-Chain prospect profile, along with catching up on a lot of news that'll be coming. And then for all you Patreons, next episode of 3 Takes will drop Thursday night after the schedule release. I'll give you my 3 takes on the NFL schedule release. So Patrons, if you want to become a patron, patreon.com/Phinside The NFL. You can also donate, paypal.me/Phinside. It's right below here. Shout out to John. Hawks I know, bro. You guys won the freaking lottery yesterday, bro. Unbelievable. Now that's all that's left to do. At least the Panthers can knock out the Leafs. Bring out the brooms, baby. Bring out the brooms. So, yeah, 3 takes coming on Thursday for all y'all. All right? I'll see y'all on the next one tomorrow. Until then, you already know what time it is, baby. Fins up all day, every day. Thank all of y'all for joining me tonight. Love all y'all. See y'all on the next one.